Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord, whom you seek, shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom you delight in. Behold, he shall come, says the Lord of hosts. But who may abide the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like fuller's soap. And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. And he shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Lord an offering in righteousness.
Well, let me see. Go put yours on mute. Shalom, family. Shalom. Let's see. Listen, I don't know what's going on with our internet right now, but I want to make sure you guys at least can hear us. Can we get a 1 in the chat? If brothers are able to hear us, if you sisters are able to hear us properly, and the video ain't too much of anything, as long as y'all can get the message and receive it, we're all right. Yeah, it's all good. All right, that's good enough, man. All right, so first and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, all glory to the Most High God Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai. Right, we are your brothers here at the Refiners, trying to uplift our people, man. And the topic I think is, of course, all these topics are needed in our community, but this is one that is weighing on my spirit. And as y'all know or should know, these videos that I do or that we do, I don't try to base it on, look, this is something that this guy needs. This is something that's for him. This is something for myself, right? That brothers and sisters can hopefully put into their own lives to help them grow, right? And further themselves in this walk. So let's see. And let me look through here. Shalom to everybody that's tuning in. Shalom. Right, so Dakar, brother Banya, my brother Travis. Lord willing, we see you in a bit, man. Sister Lily, Shalom. Sister Aina, Shalom. Eliana, Just El, Ashar Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom to you, sister. Right. Like how the sister Aina just said right here. Man, this title was my toddler son years ago. Greedy. His favorite word was more. And that's funny. I think that's one of the first things that my daughter Zariah was doing, because off that sign language thing, more of this, more of that. That's a babe coming into this, right? Glad the Most High showed him the necessity for balance. It's kind of what we're gonna go into right now, right? So let me make sure I'm looking at this over here, and I'm on point with these things. Hopefully can go into a little bit into the words for this, right? So the title of this is Never Being Satisfied, right? And if you could just see the comments if brothers have anything on there, because I'm gonna have this blocking on here.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so if you ever heard the saying, your eyes are bigger than your stomach, right? Your eyes are bigger than your stomach. One of the first times I ever heard that was from Brother Dakar. And I think we had gone to eat somewhere, literally gone somewhere to eat. And then my rib ended up saying it a couple days later. And I was like, damn, I've never heard none of these things, right? These sayings, right? But what is it going into, right? Your eyes are bigger than your stomach, Meaning, I thought I wanted to eat all this food, right? I craved all this food. I was sitting here and being like, I want this, I want that, right? So your eyes are bigger than your stomach, right? You craved, you desired it, right? So it's like saying you ordered a whole pizza for yourself and some wings and some garlic sticks, and you couldn't even get through a few slices of the pizza, right? Or like going to a restaurant, Mexican restaurant, right? You get so full off the chips, waiting for the burrito, waiting for your tacos, your sopes, whatever it is you ordered, right? It turns out you weren't even all that hungry, right? But you ordered all that food, right? So now the stuff I thought I wanted, the stuff you were craving, the stuff that you thought you needed, you could have done without. In that same way, we want so much. We want a bigger house, a nicer car. We want more wives, more money, more shoes, more clothes, more everything. We are never satisfied, right? So the key word in this is bigger, nicer, more, more. How the sister right now was saying on here, right? How her toddler was saying back then. So let's get that in Ecclesiastes 12 and 13 ready, right? So you have a house, you have a car, you have a wife, you have money, you have shoes, you have clothes, you have everything, right? One thing that our people fail to do, though, even though we bring out this verse in specific every other camp, or if not every single camp or every single class, right? Go ahead with that.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man.
Watch this. Let's see what I'll get that right now. So what we fail to do is keep the eye on the goal, right? Our duty, and be grateful and appreciative of the things that we do have, and understand that this materialistic thing, this materialistic side of life, it isn't everything, right? In fact, it's not the goal whatsoever. If your faith, if your beliefs, if your hope is based on what the Lord has done for you, do you really deserve anything, right? If it's things that the Lord has to give you in order for you to be like, if the Lord does this for me, I'm gonna do this. That's not what faith, true faith really is. So let me see let me highlight this, make sure I know where I'm at. Let me share my screen for y'all. In this weather in Reading. Oh man. So let me see. Let me share my screen. Let me put a 2 in the chat if you're at least picking up what I'm putting down right now. Right? If you're smelling what I'm stepping in. Let me see. Let me get the blue letter real quick. Ecclesiastes 12:13. Let me share my screens. Lock, yeah. So Ecclesiastes 12 and 13, right? It says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter, fear God, and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man.
Zoom in.
Let's see.
You can go like this on there.
Boom.
More.
More?
Yeah.
Probably as close as it gets on there. Right, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter, fear God, and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man, right? We go to the interlinear. The whole, right? So there's in the word for duty there. It just literally says the call. This is the whole. This is everything. This is the all, right? So all, the whole, the totality. This is everything, right? Let me see I didn't really look at this one right here. Well, Salakia, I don't know what's going on with the video at least, but when you get time yourselves, right, look into at least the Hebrew word for call, right, which is when we say call halal, it's all praises, right? Literally translated from English to Hebrew like that. But yeah, that's call. So this is your whole duty, right? And we forget what our whole duty is. It isn't to have all these things added onto you, right? The whole duty is you're doing this out here not because you want a better car, a better house. You're here because you want to hear in that day, good job, my good and faithful servant, right? So, like I said, if your faith is based, if your beliefs, if your hope is based on what the Lord has done for you or can do for you? Do you really deserve anything? Right, let's get the y'all translation on there. What does that stand for?
I don't even know.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, just y'all, like you all, I guess. This is the book of Job, chapter 1 and verse 8 in the y'all translation.
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? For there is no one like him in the earth, a blameless and upright man, one who fears God and turns away from evil." Verse 10, "Haven't you made a hedge around him and around his house and around all that he has on every side?
Mm-hmm.
You have blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But stretch out your hand now and touch all that he has, and he will renounce you to your face."
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh said to Satan, "Look, all that he has is in your power, but do not lay your hand on him." So Satan went out from the presence of Yahweh.
Right, so Satan tells God, your servant is only like this because you give to him. He doesn't know the struggle. Of course, he is obedient, but that's when the real challenges await you as well, right? Challenges await you when you have everything as well, right? When you have, because then you get tunnel vision on wanting more and never complacent, right? Your possessions can then turn into, I did this, I have this, and forget who made it happen for you, right? And when it gets taken away, then you curse the name of God, right? Then you curse the name of the Lord. Then it gets easy to fall away because then it's, well, God's not with me in your eyes, when then the whole time it's a test, it's being refined, right? It's going through a trial and tribulation. You had a precept?
I did have one, but I can hold off on it.
Okay, Con, let's get that in Job 2 and 4 and 10.
Con, this is the book of Job, chapter 2 and verse 4 through 10 in the y'all translation.
Mm-hmm.
Satan answered Yahweh and said, "Skin for skin, yes, all that a man has he will give for his life. But stretch out your hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will renounce you to your face."
Right.
Yahweh said to Satan, "Very well, he is in your hand, only spare his life." So Satan went out from the presence of Yahweh and struck Job with painful sores from the sole of his foot to his head. He took for himself a potsherd to scrape himself with, and he sat among the ashes.
Uh-huh.
Then his wife said to him, "Are you still maintaining your integrity? Curse God and die." But he said to her, "You speak like one of the foolish women speak. Should we receive good at the hand of God and not also receive evil?"
Mm-hmm.
In all this, Job didn't sin with his lips.
Right. So when God can't get to you directly, he will hit you where he knows you are weak at. Right. He created you. He knows the ins, the outs, every hair on your body. He knows it. You think he doesn't know how to test you? Right. So your feelings, your flesh, and everything around you will start to test your faith you had when you were on top. Right. Not only at the bottom, but also when you're on top, to make sure you're even deserving of the top. Right. If your faith folds when materialistic things are taken away, you didn't love God for what he blessed you with. You loved him for just what he blessed you with. So like I should say that you loved the Most High just the things that he was able to do for you, because when he takes it away, the love is gone, right? So some of us could never be Job and be blessed because we would fail those tests, right? We would be like the man. We would literally be like, man, what kind of God will put me through this? What kind of God does this to his people, right? Instead, you're just never going to have it, and you're never going to know what it's like, and you will work hard, hopefully, to get those things one day. But the big point is here is be happy with what you have, even if you never get the things that you want in this world, right? So let's get Luke.
And real quick to a point for that, right? Like, that's what it is to curse God. Like, you're cursing God when something happens. Like, what kind of God would do this? You know what I mean? That's part of cursing God. Not like saying F God or, things like that, but just having that lack of faith and having that lack of understanding, you know what I'm saying, those trials and tribulations, and you go through something, then you're like, well, what kind of God would put me through this? Right? Or what kind of God, you know, as heavy as it may sound, what kind of God would take a child at birth? You know, it can get real deep.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's true. I mean, we personally heard brothers say stuff like that, right? Like, do you kick back and wonder, oh, what kind of God does this, bro? We serve a great and terrible God. Stop focusing on the terrible and see what you can do for Him, so that you can see the blessing side of it, the good side of it. Then, right? Luke 14:27.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 14 and verse. You want 27?
Yeah.
And whosoever doeth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple.
Right. So carry your burdens, right? Deal with them head on. Pass those trials. You are not more special than Christ, who was made like you in every manner to show you that it can be done. Right. One thing we say, right? Of course, the Lord doesn't need you, right? The Lord can bring somebody else up. The moment you start feeling the Most High needs me to do all these things, and I this, I that, you are no longer serving. You're trying to be the master at this point. You're no longer a servant to the Most High God. So what is He going to need you for?
Precept in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Let me see.
I got you.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So this is the book of, we got a precept in the chat from Gabar, Soldier Gabar, book of James, chapter 1 and verse 14 to 15. All right, this verse 14. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lusts and enticed. Verse 15. Then when the lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin, and sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death.
Right. I mean, like I said, every single one of us goes through trials and tribulations, right? And it's going to be going into this right now, but just to land back off of this, right? If y'all didn't watch the live yesterday, I'm so glad Gabar posted that too. I forgot all about that. Gabar was literally bringing out this verse, right? When yesterday, we're bringing it out. We're at camp, right? Brother Ara is teaching, right? And we're trying to go into how to truly love God, right? How to truly love God, what it actually means, and how it is that religions haven't shown us what it is to love God. And we were literally focusing on love, 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 love. Ara wasn't even focusing on Israelite this, Israelite that. He's just literally saying, we got to love our people. We got to start showing more love to everything, even your neighbor. Be good with everybody, right? When across the street, Edomite dude starts screaming the hard R at the top of his lungs. Bro, we're all looking around. We're like, oh, who is he arguing with?
All right.
Whole time, he's looking at us from across the street from the parking garage, just down the block. And Gabar's like, you know what? He's like in my head after camp when we're talking about it, he's like, in my head, I'm like, please don't come over here with that attitude, bro. We're more than likely gonna end up having to jump, bro, if he gets crazy. Yeah. He said he's thinking this in his head. Dude literally screams out from across the street, who's gonna jump me? Bro, Gabar's like, bro, I started tripping. Yeah. He's like, how did he read my thoughts? Bro, this is Satan coming over here, bro. He comes to our face, starts telling us that he don't like none of us, that he's gonna shoot us, that he's gonna smoke us. Goes up to KASHAB, or Araz like, but we're brothers, right? We're cool. And he's like, yeah. He's like, we're good. He's like, but I don't like him. Right. Points at KASHAB.
Right.
Bro.
Darkest dude on the line.
Yeah. And are we surprised at the end of the day? Held our composure. Cool. He goes across the street, starts getting off on a security guard, threatens him too. Security dude calls the cops, right? I think the cops was already there or driving by, talks to him, whatever. But the whole thing is the Lord is gonna tempt you. Right? He's going to tempt your pride, like how it says your own lusts, right? The things that you're weak at, he's going to test exactly where you're at because the Lord knows how to test you, right? But he's going to provide you a way out. And luckily, we didn't fail this test right there, right? All of us were able to go back home. Buddy ended up getting put in the back of a cop car. And, I mean, the rest is history on that, right? But Luke, let me see. Yeah, so that was crazy. It was crazy. Let me see. So you were at Luke 14 and 28. Yeah.
Right. So this is the book of Luke, chapter 14 and verse 28. And it reads, for which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first?
Here. So like, read that one more time. Yeah.
For a tower.
So remember in the last verse how it said Job had a hedge around him, right? This a hedge around you is right the Most High, but that's also what a tower represents, right? So building a tower goes back to building a fortress, right? Security, safety, you're building that trust in the Lord. So how do you do that, right? It's by keeping his commandments and the faith in him. It's really simple. I feel like this is such a thing, that a repetitive thing, but everything goes back to that foundation, keeping the commandments and the faith in him, right? In that he sent his son, Christ, right? Jesus, Yahushua, Yeshua, or whatever you guys feel that it clings to. We say Yahushua, right? He sent his son to atone for your sins. So which of you intending to build this safety, right? This tower, go ahead.
Picking up in verse 28, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost,
right?
Whether he have sufficient to finish.
To finish it, right? So this verse can be applied in so many ways. No matter how you want to shape it, it cuts deep, right? I've seen time and time again, brothers and sisters come into this walk thinking it's cake, right? Thinking it's a trend, a fad, it's cool, right? Not considering what it truly requires out of you. The diligence, the dedication, the integrity, the consistency, the humiliation that comes from these trials that are needed in order for you to be refined, right? And at the first sign of trouble, you run and you drop out, right? The first sign of a trial, you run and you drop out. As soon as the waters get murky, you run and you drop out. When you're on high, you're feeling good, you have all these things, but when the Lord comes and takes it away from you to test your faith, you're done, right? And the scripture talks about it, right? Mark 4:16.
So this is the book of Mark, chapter 4 and verse 16. And these are they likewise which are sown on stony ground, who when they have heard the word, immediately receive it with gladness.
So you take the word in, right? I'm an Israelite. Oh, I'm a king out here. The Bible calls me a princess and whatnot. I know something that Christians don't know. Y'all didn't know this part about the Bible. You receive it with gladness. It's like this occulted knowledge that now you got a hand in. Now you're like, okay, cool. I know this. No one else knows this. I'm gonna go and cut everybody with it now, right? Go ahead.
Verse 17, and have no root in themselves.
Because it was a superficial thing, right? It was a fad to you. It was fun to you. It looked cool to you at the moment, right?
And so endure but for a time. Afterward, when affliction or persecution ariseth, for the word's sake, immediately they are offended.
Right.
Verse 18, and these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of this world.
Read that part slow, right there, verse 19.
And the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lusts of other things entering in, choke the word, and it becometh unfruitful.
Right. So you worry about everything else. You worry about wanting more. You're not satisfied no more. You're like how the sister has said, you are greedy. You're not complacent with what the Lord is giving you, right?
Content.
You're not content with what the Lord is giving you, and you want more, right? So this, first off, it isn't a gang, right? Being in the truth isn't just brotherhood. It's a lifestyle, right? It's your culture. It's the principal thing. That's the principal thing before everything else, right? You can't run away from being an Israelite. You can't drain your blood and get another nation's blood and just stop being God's chosen people, right? There's no running from it. So before you sat there and you ordered them fringes off of Etsy, off of what Amazon, eBay, whatever you did, you went to Joann's Fabrics, you went to the Hobby Lobby, whatever, to get your Zeets material. Before you changed your name to a Hebrew name, before you went to Barnes and Nobles and you bought that 1611 or that Apocrypha, you sat there and was like, am I really about to go and do this, right? All of us thought that at one point, but we didn't think the deeper side. You didn't think about what is going to come with this. Am I really going to rock this out until the end, right? You should have, right? So let's Luke 14:29.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 14.
And shalom to the brothers from Sons of Thunder. Shalom, King.
And 29, Salakia. Let us, Salakia, lest happily after he hath laid the foundation.
Right, so after you did all that, after you joined the camp, got dripped down in Hebrew Israelite clothing, Kwam Yasharallah posts this and that, right? Keep going.
And is not able to finish it.
And you fall off, right? You become a reprobate, a reject. Go ahead.
All that behold it begin to mock him.
Right. So here comes your family, your friends. When you go back to being KASHAB, back to being Jose again, right? From telling everyone how God's going to knock them off if they eat pork to asking for bacon on your burgers now.
Right.
They're going to say, you're a joke. And so is that belief that you thought you had. That's a joke. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 30, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish.
Right. So you failed because you thought this was something else. You thought this was a game. You thought it was a phase. Your eyes were bigger than your stomach right there. Right. So meanwhile, there's somebody out there who does not have what you have, who wants to be in the position that you're in, right? Who's battling demons every single day, who was fighting a war every single day to get where you're at, right? But here you come, ungrateful, never satisfied, taking things for granted, right? So I remember literally praying, God, show me the truth. And when it was presented to me, I embraced it, right? I saw the good, the bad, the ugly. I counted the cost, whatever came with it. I understood it's part of the game, right? So you don't start, for you brothers that come out there from the street and your sisters, right? You don't start gangbanging. And when you get shot at, you're like, well, I didn't think this was going to happen. This wasn't what I signed up for. No, you joined because you counted the cost. You knew one day it could get like that, right? It could get so deep that your life might be at risk for it, right? And for you brothers that are in camps, you know how the bad things can happen for us on the streets, even if we don't look for it. And yesterday was an example of that, right? Because we know what we're working against. It's these wicked principalities, these wicked spirits that are trying to keep this word down and trying to keep you unmotivated, right? So you got in this walk and understood what the Lord is doing. He's a tester of your spirit. He's a tester of your faith. He's going to check you, right? It wasn't, I want more, I want more, I want more. It was, I just want to hear, good job, my good and faithful servant, in the beginning of your walk, right? So what happened? That's like one of the biggest things. What happened to you then, right? So here you are with your eyes bigger than your stomach, right? Somebody out there without food, hoping somebody feeds them, and you just ordered a meal for a family of 5 just because you wanted to, right? And you didn't think, man, the Lord has blessed me with so much right now. I only needed a few slices. I only want to hear, good job, my good and faithful servant. But here you are, worried about being rich, worried about being comfortable, having it all. But when you're a true believer, you will be comfortable. What's the word that you just said? Content, right? With whatever the Lord gives you, even the bad. Job even said that, right? Is it, yeah, the Lord blessed me, but I also expect and would think that he would try to test me and take all this away from me, right? Most of the things that you want in life is because someone tells you that you need it, right? It's something that you need in order to be accepted. It's something that you need in order to be cool, to show that you've made it to everybody else, or even show yourself that you made it. I'll make it when I have this, then I'll be happy. God didn't ask that of you, right? If God wanted you to be rich, he would have forced it upon you. And there was nothing you could do to stop that, right? And the scriptures show us stuff like this. Deuteronomy 28 and 15.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
What's the next verse?
Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
What's it saying? Ultimately, wherever you go, these curses are going to follow you. There's nothing you're going to be able to do to avoid these curses. But on the flip side, it also says things on a positive sense. Man, it is pouring outside.
Yeah, it's kind of different.
Get verse 1, 2, and 3.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1 through 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments.
See, it don't say nothing about adding to anything else. It gives you the basics. This is all the Lord is requiring of you. Observe and do his commandments, right?
Which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And all these things, Salakia, and all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Right?
Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field.
Right. So if the Lord wanted to bless you, there would be nothing you would be able to do to avoid being blessed. If the Lord wants you to be blessed, you will be blessed. In the same way, how if the Lord wants you to be cursed, no matter what you do, no matter how many jobs, no matter how many hours of overtime you do, you're not gonna make it, bro.
Right.
You're not gonna make it, sis. The Lord is gonna block that every single time. Sirach 11 and 21.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 11 and verse 21. Marvel not at the works of sinners.
Right. So don't be like, look, nothing's happened to the sinner. I said this before to some of these, but I don't know if I've said it in the live before. I'm sure I might have. Right. So when I first started learning about the truth, I won't say when I was in the truth, when I first started learning about this, I was working at a job. I was working at Facebook. I was cooking at Facebook for a few years. And in order for Facebook to open up where it was at in the borderline Menlo Park in East Palo Alto, they had to hire like 20% of people from EPA in Menlo Park. So I took that opportunity. I applied. I got accepted. I literally told them, look, I don't know anything about cooking, but I'm willing to learn. I'm a good learner. They took me in. In there, I started seeing people from the hood. I'm like, bro, what are you doing here? Oh, I applied and they took me. They're dishwashers or prep cooks, whatever it may be, but they're there. Brothers that I hadn't seen in hella long, right, since high school times at that point. One of the brothers tells me, look, bro, this dude just went down. This dude is facing life. This dude is doing this. And I'm like, bro, what happened? There's an operation, if you look it up on Google, it's called Operation Sunny Day, right? Where a bunch of people that I grew up with were going out robbing people, we're going out killing people, and they would text each other, oh, it's a sunny day in EPA today. And the cops got tracked their phones and said, every time that these guys come in here and they say sunny day in EPA, it means they killed somebody. It means they did this. It means they did that. They locked down, I think it was 42 people. Easily at least 10, 11, 12 of those I knew, I grew up with. Those were my boys. Bro was telling me that that I met on there on Facebook, bro would literally invite me to go hit licks in high school. I never did it with him, but we're there at work with him, and he tells me, bro, we just hit for 80 bands a couple weeks ago. We go outside, bro. There's one of the dudes that was in there, the dude's locked up. His name was Chi-Chi's on there. He got caught with $500,000 in cash. You're riding around with $500,000 in cash. And I'm like, damn, bro, I should have gone with him. I should have done this. I should have done that. But most of them is locked up facing life right now. And I'm looking at bro, he's like, yeah, we just hit for 80 bands. I'm like, bro, I should have gone with you. I should have done that. But knowing my luck, I would have been that dude sitting behind a prison instead of being at work like how he was. Because the Lord just loves dealing with me a certain kind of way, right? But it says, marvel not at the works of sinners, right? Don't be like, damn, bro, the bro got away with it. I could have done that, right? But what's it say?
Marvel not at the works of sinners, but trust in the Lord and abide in thy labor.
Right.
For it is an easy thing in the sight of the Lord on the sudden to make a poor man rich.
Right. Go ahead.
Verse 22, the blessing of the Lord is in the reward of the godly.
Right.
And suddenly he maketh his blessing to flourish.
Right. So it's an easy thing in the sight of the Lord to make a poor man rich. We literally know a brother off a $20 scratcher out of nowhere. And I'll give it to bro. Bro has always been a humble brother, right? He comes from a very, very poor family. I don't know if he's even watching this, right? Shout out to my brother, you know who I'm talking about. If you're watching this, grew up in the slums, grew up not having anything, grew up working from 13 years old on forward because his family was broke and he needed to help provide and step up and be a man in the house. Off a $20 scratcher, won 750 bands. Now he bought his family a whole house out there in Bakersfield and his well, right? But it is an easy thing for that to happen. Right. And I could sit there and I could buy 100 scratchers, and the only thing I'm gonna win is another ticket, right? But that's the thing. The Lord is gonna bless those. How it says right here is the reward of the godly, right? So first and foremost, you have to be godly in order to be receiving these blessings, in order for them to even count. because you can have money and it not do nothing for you, right? 10 bands right now ain't anything. Of course, it'll do a little bit, right? It'll maybe get you on your feet if you know how to do it, right? But that's nothing, right? Sometimes the Lord can bless you with even more abundance and be able to make a change in your life to where your dad is happy now. Now you own a house like that, right? But that's the Lord blessing you for being godly, right? So the labor that it talks about right there, it isn't about just going to work on a 9 to 5, right? It's plowing the fields out here, right? Christ said the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few, right? It says abide in thy labor. The Lord can give you these spiritual riches, like being able to break down scripts, right? Being able to help people through the rough times, but as well as physical riches, right? He's going to bless the godly if he wants to, if he chooses to, if that's your will at the end of the day. Otherwise, he's going to block every single business opportunity for you, every single promotion, every single chance at prosperity, lest you focus on the kingdom. Like how we were just talking about with one of the brothers, you can work 100 hours overtime, and at the end of the day, it still won't be enough, right? Unless you're focusing on the right things, the Lord is going to provide, right? Deuteronomy 28 and 48.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things.
In want of all things, go ahead.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he hath destroyed thee.
Right, so in the want, in the craving of all these things, and the desire of all these things. So watch this. Let me see. Let me share my screen. And hopefully this is good for y'all, man. How's it look on there? Does it look hella choppy still? Yeah, it looks hella choppy still. It's all good. Bear with me, family, right? So this is Strong's H14, right? It's
119 or what?
You said what again?
119. Psalms 119 or what?
Which one?
I can pull it up on my phone.
No, it's the Strong's right here. I'm saying this looks choppy on here. This is Strong's H14. Right, Abaha or Abba, right, kind of like dad, but it has the ha at the end, or father, right? It says to be willing, to consent, to be willing, consent, yield to, accept, to desire. This is the Hebrew word for desire on there, right? To will, would, right? Let me see. Is it on here the same thing we have on here? Yep. So let me look at the lexicon on here. Lexicon says to breathe after, like that's the only thing you're focused on. That's your desire, your craving, you're breathing at, you're living just for that, right? Let me see what else it says on here. To desire, to long for, to be in want of. In Arabic, it has the power altogether to reverse it. It says la abba, so no will, right? But ultimately, you had something on there?
Eliana said that's been a recent struggle for me, seeing wicked people do so well.
Yeah, and that's the hard part. That's why it says, but trust in the Lord on there, right? That's why it says trust in the Lord. Don't look at a sinner. It says don't marvel at it.
Don't envy.
Yeah, don't envy a sinner. Yeah, there's a verse for that. If you could get that one. So look at. I know it's hard on here to look at this, but when you look at the way that this word desire is looking or is used in scripture, like for example, Psalms 81 and 11, right? It says, but my people would not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me. What is it saying? It's also saying they craved none of me. They wanted none of me. They desired none of me, right? Proverbs 1 and 10, my son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not, right? Desire thou not, want it not. Proverbs 1 and 25, but you have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. You didn't want none of his reproof. You didn't crave none of his reproof. You pulled a shoulder, how it says, right? Let me see what else. If you be willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. That's Isaiah 1 and 19. It says, if you desire, right? If you want to, if you're craving it and are obedient. Let me see. Isaiah 13:15. I'll end it with this one. For thus says the Lord God, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall ye be saved. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, and ye would not. and you desired it not. You didn't want that, right? You chose not to. Let me go back and remove this real quick. You had something? You had that right?
Yeah, come on. So I'm gonna read two separate translations. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 23 and verse 17 in the GNT. It says, "Don't be envious of sinful people.
Mm-hmm.
Let reverence for the Lord be the concern of your life."
And that's what I'm saying. That's the basis of this, right? Your eyes are bigger than your stomach at that point. Instead of it being your whole focus being on that, let me please the Lord, it turns into all these wants. It turns into all these desires, these lusts, this greediness of I want everything now, right? Go ahead.
Finish in verse 18 in the GNT. It says, "If it is, you have a bright future." Right. So I'm gonna read it in the KJV. Right. It says in the book of Proverbs 23 and 17, "Let not thine heart envy sinners, but be thou in the fear of the Lord all the day long. For surely there is an end, and thine expectation shall not be cut off."
Can you read that first part again?
It says, verse 18, "For surely there is an end, and thine expectation shall not be cut off."
So like my bad, that one right before that.
Verse 17, "Let not thine heart envy sinners, but be thou in the fear of the Lord all the day long."
And ultimately, like when I'm tying it back to like my personal life and the people that I grew up around, that was one of the biggest things for me. It's seeing people being prosperous, like how the sister Eliana said, right? Let me put that on here. It says that's been a recent struggle for me, seeing wicked people doing so well. I would pull up to the house in the hood. I see brothers a year older than me, 2 years older than me, ride around with Mach 1s, GTOs, donks. I'm like, damn, bro, I'm trying to be like that. I'm trying to do all that. But at the same time, the morality that my parents instilled in me as a kid, even back then, even when I didn't even care about the Bible, I understood I shouldn't be doing that, right? That's one of the biggest difference when you're focusing on the wrong thing. Even what's it saying? In Romans 10:2, they have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. Right. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to, right? If you have just a little bit of morality, you will understand I maybe should not be selling drugs. But these people don't grow up like that, right? My boys didn't grow up like that. Because at the end of the day, you never know how you're going to end. Bro, there's so many sad stories like that in the hood where brothers get so caught up and greedy and they're never satisfied that's their end. I have a friend that passed away when we were like 14, 15 years old. Bro hit a lick. One of the standards of it back then was never, I don't want to cuss on here, but it's don't crap where you eat at, right? So you go do all your stuff somewhere else, right? Go do everything that you were going to go do somewhere else. Bro got so greedy, he decided to hit a house that he knew that somebody was balling at. Dude had cameras on there, put a hit out on my boy. My brother was 15, 16 years old, got gunned down, chased down the street, tried hiding under a car, got his feet shot up and everything. Crazy. We're 15 years old, 16 years old doing stuff like this because you never had enough. You always wanted more. You aren't used to everything. So when you have a little bit, you're like, bro, I want so much more of this, right? The brother Travis says, gotta be hungry for it and never get full. We were just talking about it an hour ago with one of the brothers, right? I don't know if you want to get that in Revelation 2, right? What that first verse that priest had gone to is going back to the first feeling that you had when you came into this truth. You were full, you were content with just knowing, right? I'm an Israelite, I'm doing this. This is fine for me. I want to be a servant. This is it. And then it turns into, okay, well, I got all this. I got all these blessings. Now I want more of it, right? Now I want everything now I want the world, right? Let me see. Let me look at it real fast.
Talking about the first one.
Yeah. It was Revelation 2 and 2 all the way to 4, all the way to 5. Or actually you know what? This one, get it in the GNT. I remember this one right here.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 1 in the GNT.
Oh, start at 2.
2 and verse 2 in the GNT. "I know what you have done. I know how hard you have worked and how patient you have been. I know that you cannot tolerate evil people, and that you have tested those who say they are apostles but are not, and have found out that they are liars.
Mm-hmm.
You are patient. You have suffered for my sake, and you have not given up.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what I have against you. You do not love me as you did at the first.
And this is something, shout out to the powerful brother Yaash, right? Kahan Yaash, priest Yaash. There's a brother also in our camp, right? Banya. Love this brother's spirit. I know you watching on this, brother. Bro, is the love that he has for everything. It's literally how he stayed like that, fervent in it. I remember how priest had brought up, man, used to have highlighters for this, highlighters for that. I used to have a Bible bag that I used to carry everywhere. And as soon as the brother brought out a good precept, I would do the same thing Banya does. I'm gonna mark this off so that later I'm looking at this, I'll highlight this. My whole first Bible looked like it was just highlighted out. Everything you couldn't turn to no page because I'm like, bro, I love this so much. I want to make sure that I'm always on point, always on this. Carry my little notepad with me everywhere to write down little precepts to remind myself on it. And then it turns into what happened?
Mm-hmm.
What happened on that? Right? Read that last one, that last verse again, where he says what he's mad about.
Yeah, verse 4 in Revelation 2 GNT. But this is what I have against you. You do not love me now as you did at first.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Think how far you have fallen.
But look, and see, and before that, it's saying, I know you're patient. I know you're this. I know you're that. That's not everything, though. You're still able to fall short even then, right? Go ahead.
Right, like Brother Gabar was bringing up on his lesson last night about reading and just studying and taking time to really, how he took a lot of time, and we all have, right, with reading and falling in that first love of studying. But then, life happens, and then you start falling back, and you're not reading as much, you're not studying as much. And that's why it says, think how far you have fallen. So we have to reflect on that first love that we had, that zeal and that fire that we first had when we first came in and started learning about this, right? So it says, Revelation 2 and verse 5, think how far you have fallen. Turn from your sins and do what you did at first.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't turn from your sins, I will come to you and take away your lampstand from its place. But this is what you have in your favor. You hate what the Nicolaitans do as much as I do.
Watch this. Hold on. I think there was get Revelation 3. Because this is kind of on there. Watch this. Revelation and in the GNT right there is cool.
Okay.
You can read from 1 to 3.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse, or Salakia, chapter 3 and verse 1. To the angel of the church in Sardius write, this is the message from the one who has the 7 spirits of God and the 7 stars.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what you are doing. I know that you have the reputation for being alive,
Mm-hmm.
even though you are dead.
So watch this. This is a precept, and shout out to my brother Nayar who showed me this. This is Romans 13:11, right? In the King James it says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. When you look at that word for sleep on there, it's hypnos, right? You're hypnotized. You're caught up in this whole world. You can be alive, but you're literally dead, how Christ is saying right there. Right? Go ahead.
I know what you are doing. I know that you have the reputation of being alive.
So you're hypnotized right there.
Even though you are dead.
Uh-huh.
So wake up.
So what?
So wake up.
Right? You're hypnotized. Snap out of it. Right? Go ahead.
And strengthen what you still have before it dies completely.
Before you're swallowed up, before you're by everything of this world, everything that the world is trying to give you, before the main goal is out of the way. You are not satisfied, right? Your eyes are bigger than your stomach. Go ahead.
For I find that what you have done is not yet perfect in the sight of my God. Remember then what you were taught and what you heard. Obey it and turn from your sins. If you do not wake up,
if you don't snap out of that delusion that you're in, right?
I will come upon you like a thief, and you will not even know the time when I will come.
But that's the difference. The people who are marinating in this word, it says you're in the light. So therefore that darkness isn't going to overtake you. But then you are in the world, in the darkness, and you're not even going to know when that time is. Right? Sister Anna had a good precept on there. Right? You want to get that one.
Yeah.
Try to get back in this.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 73, verse 3, and then 16 and 17. I'm going to read it in the GNT. Because I was jealous of the proud when I saw that the things go well for the wicked, right?
Man.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah,
Oh.
that's funny.
I'm just going to keep reading, right? Verse 4, they do not suffer pain. They are strong and healthy. They do not suffer as other people do. They do not have the troubles that others have. And so they wear pride like a necklace and violence like a robe. Their hearts pour out evil, and their minds are busy with wicked schemes. And like, this is cold, right? Because we see that how the evil people of this world, right? I was watching some YouTuber last night, right? His mind's not even stayed on the Lord, but his life is touring the world on cruise ships, right? A lot of people would envy that. A lot of people would desire for their life to be paid, to be a YouTuber, to make videos, to go on vacations around the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Their minds are not stayed on the Lord. So you can get caught up in envying that lifestyle and envy and desiring to do those things. Right? Verse 8, it says, they laugh at other people and speak of evil things. They are proud and make plans to oppress others. And I'm going to get to the point, right, in verse 16 and 17. It says, I tried to think this problem through, but it was too difficult for me until I went into your temple. Then I understood what will happen to the wicked.
Right. Look, get Ezekiel 13. I just know it's the last two verses. It might be 12 or 13. Let me try to see.
Ezekiel 13.
Yeah. That's what this just reminded me of right here. Yeah, 13 and 22.
This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 13 and verse 22. Because with lies ye have made the heart of the righteous sad, whom I have not made sad.
Look, bro, you is good. You don't need to do all that Bible stuff. Look, we're good right here. Hit this lick with us. You're going to have rent. You're going to have this. You're not going to worry about anything else, right? With these lies, you made my people sad with it. Go ahead.
And have strengthened the hands of the wicked.
You've made the wicked think they didn't need to change. You don't have to keep the laws of God no more, right? It's all just faith now. No, there's laws come into it. That's how you truly show that you're obedient, by listening and obeying. Go ahead.
That he should not return from his wicked way by promising him life.
You're telling that wicked man, look, it's good. You don't have to do none of that. Come as you are. Stay as you are. All you got to do is just believe in Christ. That's it. That's not how this works. That's not how it's ever worked. You have something?
Nope.
Okay, so look, let me see.
The last one?
Huh?
Verse 23?
No, it's good.
Okay.
But the sister had another precept on here. Thou hast left thy first love. Con, the water, brothers, the water, brother. All praise to the Most High. Sister, I know I had this one. I thought that this one's solid, bro. Jeremiah 2 and 2 in the GNT.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 2 and verse 2 in the GNT. I must just start at 1, right? The Lord told me to proclaim this message to everyone in Jerusalem. I remember how faithful you were when you were young, how you loved me when we were first married.
And that's the thing. That's what we were saying. Like how the brothers were when you first come in. You got the whole deck. You have everything you loved it so much, you wanted every single breakdown. I remember I binge watched every single YouTube video there was out there that the brothers in Sakari had put out when I first came into this. Not even them, it was the AOC, it was the Wi-Fi. I used to stay on the Adam Abbott channel, right, before it turned into the Wi-Fi channel on there. But bro, I wanted everything to do with that. And now when you have these now you think you solid with these breakdowns, and now it's all right, it's good. I have nothing else to do. No, there's even a better chance for you to sharpen up. And if it's not you, you can sharpen the next brother, right? There's always work to be done on there. Let's get Sirach 11:23 now. Or Salakia, when we had gone into those words, right? So let me see. So we had gone into those words, right? For a desire, right? In the want, in the craving, and all things, and the desire of all things, right? So it's a curse to not have the things you require, right? It says you're going to be in want of all things amongst all these nations. That's a sin. You're going to want everything. And we all know this. Disobedience brings curses. So what do you do in order to be blessed, right? You obey. You crave him and his ways. You desire for his ways. You're willing to be obedient. The same word for willing is the same word for crave, is the same word for desire. Right? So because the Most High can bring everything to naught, everything that you thought you were securing, that hedge, that tower that you thought you were building, because you thought it was you, right? And not him, not understanding that the Most High, he is your fortress. He is your security. He is your hedge, right? Because that's what you thought he wanted from you. The whole time you're putting the work on the back burner, giving zero effort. So now Sirach 11:23.
The book of Sirach, chapter 11 and verse 23. Say not, what profit is there of my service, and what good things shall I have hereafter?
Right, so don't say, what am I doing this for? Don't say, going to camp, teaching people about God, putting the work in at home to do videos, reels, whatever, making lessons, having conversations about the Lord. Even how I tell this to the sister every time, even just posting messages on a status on your story or something is motivation for people. You could be going through this. You could be going through something, trying to kill time on Facebook and be scrolling and get a message that just hits home for you. And you're like, damn, that's what I needed right now. Little things like that are beneficial, not just for you, for other people on here, right? Get that in James 5:20, right? Let me see. Right. So don't think it's worthless. Don't worry about who sees it, or nobody giving you a good job. Don't worry if you only get one like on there, right? The only person you should want to hear anything from is Christ, right? And it's good job, my good and faithful servant, right? James 5:20.
James 5:20, it reads, let him know that he which converteth the sinner from the error of his way shall save a soul from death, and shall hide a multitude of sins.
Right. So this is why we're out here, right? To get this blood off of your hands, to wake up the sheep, to change your desire, right? What you thought it was, what you thought was the meaning of life, to something meaningful, right? The focus should never be, I want to live lavish. I want to have this. I want to have that. Christ told his disciples to sell everything and follow him, right? You have to lose the world. You have to lose the fleshly wants, the cravings, in order to get the spiritual. There is a reason some of us will never be filthy rich and wealthy. Maybe the Lord knows that you're not going to handle it, that you're not going to know how to act when you have it, right? Maybe we're not ready for something like that yet, right? Sirach 11:24, the next verse. Oh, yep, go ahead.
This is Matthew chapter 16 and verse 24. Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it. And whosoever will lose his life for my name's sake shall find it.
Go ahead, break it down, brother.
Give
them your insight.
Right. So basically, you know what I'm saying? Like the brother was the brother was sharing, right? Like you have to be willing to give up your life to follow Yahushua. Like how he had his disciples sell everything and follow him. That's the same thing about us giving up our lives, right? To really
teach and study in this word and follow Yahushua, who ultimately is the word of God.
Right? And leave all the fleshly, worldly desires on the back burner, because you know that what's truly important is being a good follower, right? Being a good servant. You had that in Sirach 11,
Yeah.
24.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 11 and verse 24.
Mm-hmm.
Again, say not, I have enough and possess many things, and what evil can come to me hereafter? In the day of thy in the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction, and in the day of affliction, there is no remembrance.
I'm sorry, you just get 24 one time again.
Verse 24 in Sirach 11. Again, say not, I have enough and possess many things, and what evil can come to me hereafter?
Right. So you can get to the point where the Lord is no longer that hedge, right? He's no longer that tower, that fortress of salvation for you, where he's not your protection anymore, right? It's this 10-foot tall fence that you built at your house now. It's this $5,000 pit bull that you bought, that you imported from I don't know where, right? That's gonna come and think that it's gonna protect you. The Lord can have a random gas pipe in your house blow up, and that fence ain't gonna do nothing. That army stash at your house bug out bag that you got with 100 guns and 1 billion rounds of ammo ain't gonna help you in that day. The Lord can just have you have a stroke, right? What use was everything that you possessed physically, materialistic, to protect you instead of the Lord, right? Verse 25.
Verse 25. In the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction.
Mm-hmm.
And in the day of affliction, there is no remembrance of prosperity.
Right. So when you're blessed, you forget what the Lord put you through, right? Them trials and tribulations, the things that you cried over, right? But the same horrible situation that you were tripping off of, you couldn't sleep when you were going through it, is nothing when you passed it, right? You forget about it. But the day when the Lord is trying you, right, in that moment, refining you, you forget the goal, right? You forget the mission. You forget the reason why you're even doing any of this in the first point, right? In the first place, right? It's easy to give up at that point. It's easy to throw in the towel, all because you weren't satisfied with one reward, right? To hear, good job, my good and faithful servant, right? Instead, you wanted the riches of this world, right? You forgot to examine yourself. I think you had brought out that precept in Revelation. It says, like, check yourself, right? Look back, think back on this, right? You forgot to examine yourself, to reflect on whether or not you're dealing with things properly in the spirit, right? So because if a little fire can burn up your faith, a little testing can burn up your faith, you weren't meant for it, right? Get Ezekiel 20 and 38.
There's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 38. And I will purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me, I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh.
Let's watch this, right? Oh, I had it on here already. It's all good. So look, it says, and I will purge out from among you the rebels, right? And you go to the word for purge, it's barar, right? And it goes to meaning to purify, to select, to polish, to purge, to cleanse, to test or prove, to purify, to show oneself pure or just or kind, right? Let me see. Choice, yeah. So this is when the Lord is going to bring us into the wilderness and choose which one of us makes it out, right? It says going to purge out the rebels from among you. Let me stop sharing this real quick. Go back to this here. All right, so the Lord will test Israel in the wilderness, right? And it's not a soft rebuke, right? It's a purging, a purifying, a test, literally a knocking off of the 2/3 of our people who are going to be gathered there, right? But it's a selection. The same word for purge is also a choice, is also the chosen. It's also the picked ones, right? I polish them. Not everyone is in. And one of the biggest things that is holding us back is never being satisfied in these worldly things and losing track of the focus, right? Isaiah 14 and 14. You got a precept?
I was going to bring them to slam before me, but it's all good.
Sheesh. Yeah, go ahead.
So this is the book of Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 14. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, and I will be like the Most High.
Mhm.
Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this
You,
the...
you skip oh my bad. Get verse 13. I don't know why I have it backwards right here. Yeah, 13, 14, and 15.
Okay, this is the book of Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 13. It says, for thou hast said in thine heart,
Right, in your mind, in your soul, in your spirit, this is what you're thinking. What?
I will ascend into heaven.
Right, I want all of these things. I want to be I want to be just like that. Right, instead of being a servant. Right, we're called, the whole duty of man, keep his commandments. Right, nothing more, nothing less is required of us. Right, but instead you want everything that comes with it. Go ahead.
I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
Mhm.
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit.
Right, sometimes you got to be okay with just being a servant. Right, I remember in our last organization when brothers, as soon as a brother makes it to soldier, if the first thing that's in that chat is, all right, so how do I become officer now? You're not ready to be an officer. It's most likely never going to happen to you. You have to be a servant, right? Christ literally washed the disciples' feet. He was willing to be the servant, to show you what you need to be doing. But yet here our people come, and as soon as you get a little bit, now you want the top. Now you want everything that comes with it. Like I tell brothers, I don't want to be in the face. I don't want to be the face of anything. I want to be a servant. I want all you brothers to put your brick in. I want all you brothers to be able to show that you yourself are a leader, that you yourself are an example for everybody else that's coming out here. The prize isn't be the head this, the head that. That should never be. You should want to be the biggest servant for everybody, right? So every Christian and their mama thinks that this is satanic, right? That this is the devil. This verse right here in Isaiah 14, or that this is Satan, that it's the devil because he wanted to be like the Most High, right? Because they wanted to take all the credit, because this king right here wanted to take all the credit, because they wanted to be what did it say, above the stars right there, thinking that they're high and mighty, when in reality this is us, this is men, this is the king of Babylon, right? What makes him any more different than you, thinking that you're everything in a bag of chips, when you think that you're the one that made it happen instead of the Most High, right? I told brothers time and time again, right? If you look at my bank accounts, they're horrible, right? But my fridge is full. The fridge inside of my house is full, right? It's a house, right? There's gas in my car. I have a car, right? What am I complaining about? Be thankful, right? That self-reflection is very much needed, not only when you're feeling that your spirit is being tested, but more when you think that you're in the clear, right? The eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. You think the Lord is ever going to be like, nah, you know what? I tested him enough. He's good forever now, right? I don't know about y'all, but I say this a lot. When things are going good for me, I'm like, something ain't right, bro. Something ain't right. Yeah, something's going to happen, and I just know it's going to happen, and I just got to be ready for it. I don't know what it is, but I feel it in my spirit. I can't be having this much good luck, right? 2 Corinthians 12 and 2 in the GNT.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 2. I know a certain Christian man who 14 years ago was snatched up to the highest heaven.
Mm-hmm.
I do not know whether this actually happened or whether he had a vision. Only God knows.
All right, so Paul's talking about himself right here, right? We're snatched up into the third heaven. Keep going.
Verse 3. I repeat, I know this man was snatched up to paradise. Again, I do not know whether this actually happened or whether it was a vision. Only God knows.
Mm-hmm.
And there he heard things which cannot be put into words, things that human lips may not speak.
Right.
So I will boast about this man, but I will not boast about myself, except the things that show
how weak I am.
So he's saying essentially, if he went up there and he saw all these things, he could be like, bro, I've seen everything that you haven't seen yet. I saw this, I saw that, I know this, I know all this crazy stuff, right? Things that that you will more than likely never see. But he's saying, I don't even want to talk about that. I want to talk about instead how weak I am. Why? Keep going.
Verse 6. If I wanted to boast, I would not be a fool, because I would be telling the truth. But I will not boast, because I do not want any of you to have a higher opinion of me than you have as a result of what you have seen me do and heard me say.
So these verses right here are the key point, verse 7 through 10.
Verse 7. But to keep me from being puffed up with pride because of the many wonderful things I saw, I was given a painful physical ailment.
Right. So because God couldn't knock down his spiritual side of it, he gave him a physical thing to deal with. Right. So because the Lord can't test most of us, I don't say can't, or it would be so much easier to test you on the physical side instead of a spiritual side. Most of our battles are going to be physical then, having to do with money, having to do with your significant other, having to do with physical things that inside you could be solid, but on the outside, it's like, bro, I'm lacking right here. I'm lacking on the physical side, but the solid, I'm feeling good. The Lord is going to hit you right there, right? Paul, in this sense, he's saying, look, my spirit, I'm good. But instead, he started hitting me with something physical. I think some commentaries say that he might have been blind or something like that from the light, that he had trouble with his vision. I don't know. It doesn't really say on there, but keep going.
Right. I was given a painful physical ailment, which acts as Satan's messenger to beat me up, to beat me and keep me from being proud.
From being proud. He understands, look, the reason why I'm not prospering in this part, the reason why I'm not good is because the Lord is trying to teach me something. That's the same reason why some of us will never know what $1 million in the bank account looked like, because he's going to keep you from being proud. He's trying to make sure that you're on point. You don't need that. Right. You wouldn't know how to act if you had that. Yeah, right. Wow. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 8. 3 times I prayed to the Lord about this and asked him to take it away. But his answer was, my grace is all you need, for my power is greatest when you are weak.
Why? Because you understand that he is all he is all you have, right? That foundation, that fortress, what is it? The hedge. The only time you're thinking about the Lord, there's a saying in the hood that you would say, the only time you guys pray is when you're in the back of a cop car, right? That's when you want the Lord. That's when you feel that you need something, when you're weak, right? Go ahead.
I am most happy then to be proud of my weakness, in order to feel the protection of Christ's power over me. I am content with this weakness in insults, hardship, persecutions, and difficulties for Christ's sake.
You see how he didn't say he had everything, right? How he was not satisfied and he wanted to go chase more and more. Go ahead.
For when I am weak, then I am strong.
Right. When I'm okay with dealing with what the Lord has for me, because I know and I expect it from him, it's harder to catch your spirit off guard. Right. Like I was saying, like we were just talking about, okay, well, everything's been going good for me. Something has to happen. Something's going to happen. A test is coming. Right. You're going to recognize a test when a test is happening, and you're going to lock in. Right. You're going to be okay with being lowly and understanding this is momentarily. I got to trust him and be still. This is all for a reason, right? It's like being on a boat, right? And you're expecting to get thrown in, and you're expecting to get thrown in the middle of the lake. You know what's happening, right? At some point during this boat ride, you're going to jump inside of a lake. They're going to throw you in the lake. You know what's coming. And when they throw you, even if the lake is 100 feet deep or something, you were ready to get thrown in there, right? You got the breakdowns. You knew how to swim. So what's the issue? There is no issue. You knew that was going to happen. You were ready for it. On the flip side, if they catch you by surprise and you don't know what was going on, right? If you were in the darkness and not the light, even if you knew how to swim, right? Even if you knew the breakdowns, if they catch you off guard and you get thrown into that lake out of shock, out of freaking out too much, you might drown on there because you couldn't be still and trust in the Lord, right? You didn't know how to relax. If you just relaxed, if you were still, you would float, right? And be patient. And the Lord is going to lift you in that sense. The Lord is going to be there for you. The same thing how the account with Peter, right? When Christ is walking on the water, right? Peter goes out there. He's like, yeah, cool. Like Christ telling me to come out there. He's walking on the water too. But as soon as he starts freaking out, as soon as he doesn't know how to be still, and as soon as he doesn't know how to trust, you're done. You're out of there, right? So go ahead.
This is the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 1, and then I'm going to skip down to 10. It says, so then in the GNT, so then, my friends, how dear you are to me and how I miss you, how happy you make me and how proud I am of you. Right? And Paul's writing this from prison. It says, this, dear friends, this is how you should stand firm in your life in the Lord. Skipping down to verse 10. In my life in union with the Lord, it is a great joy to me that after so long a time, you once more had the chance of showing that you care for me. I don't mean that you had stopped caring for me. You just had no chance to show it. Verse 11. I am not saying this because I feel neglected, for I have learned to be satisfied with what I have. I know what it is to be in need and what it is to have more than enough. I have learned this secret so that anywhere, at any time, I am content, whether I am full or hungry, whether I have too much or too little. I have the strength to face all conditions by the power that Christ gives me.
And that's a powerful precept right there, because like I was saying in the very beginning, sometimes the only reason why some of y'all, right, is in this walk is because you think that it's just good stuff. When we see horrible things happening to everybody in this Bible who were true believers, and you're out here thinking that you're the outlier, that it's not going to happen to you, that the only time that you should be good with God is when he does good to you. I remember when you're a child, right, you do childish things. When you grow up, you put away those childish things. I remember even playing video games as a kid, bro. I'm talking about little 8, 10, 12, whatever. And I'm like, God, just help me please pass this level. Right. And if you help me pass this level, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, whatever it was. That's not the way God works, right? God is not a genie. It's not just a wishing thing. You have to do actions. You have to truly show that you're ready for things like that, right? Let me see if I could put a question. Oh, I left that on here. Let me put this, or for you few brothers and sisters that are in there, right? What was the reason that Saul, right, the first king that we had on there, the Benjamite, what was the reason that Saul got rejected? What was the reason behind that? If I'll just wait a little bit on here, right? For you brothers and sisters, if y'all could type it in quick. What was the reason that Saul got rejected? Yeah, Sherwan. This is a brother from North Carolina. I believe that's you, brother. Y'all Sherwan Bongad. Shalom King. The water for tuning in. I still got that little pendant you sent me. That's still at the bookshelf at my house, man. The water, brother. So no one got no answer for it. Why was Saul rejected? Let's give it like another minute on there. I wonder how it shows up on the YouTube thing. This is the first time I'm seeing these little widget things on the side on there. It says you can put a question.
Oh yeah, 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can see it in the bottom corner.
Oh, I see. I thought it was a clicking thing. I thought it was like a poll. That's all good. That's how you learn, man.
I think you can create polls.
Oh, good.
It's just on my page, so.
She has something. Okay, we'll move on with that. So sister said, 1 Samuel 15:23, because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king. So disobedience, yes, of course, disobedience, right? But here's it's like, to be specific on it. I was taught, right? I was taught it was because Saul didn't kill all the Amalekites, right? He didn't kill all the Amalekites. And that's in, I think, chapter 15. But when you look at the whole story, we'll just read it real quick. So when you look at the whole story, Saul was rejected way before the whole Amalek situation, way before that, right? Yeah, 1 Samuel 9. This in the GNT?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 9 and verse 2 in the GNT. He had a son named Saul, a handsome man in the prime of life. Saul was a foot taller than anyone else in Israel and more handsome as well. Some donkeys belonging to Kish had wandered off, so he had said to Saul, "Take one of the servants with you and go and look for the donkeys."
So this is what he's thinking, right? This is his priority at the time. Go find these donkeys, Saul. Go ahead.
They went through the hill country of Ephraim and the region of Shalisha, but did not find them. So they went on through the region of Shalim, but the donkeys were not there. Then they went through the territory of Benjamin, but still did not find them. When they came into the region of Zuph, Saul said to his servant, "Let's go back home, or my father might stop thinking about the donkeys and start worrying about us." The servant answered, "Wait. In this town there is a holy man who is highly respected because everything he says comes true.
He's talking about Samuel, right? Go ahead.
Let's go to him, and maybe he can tell us where we can find the donkeys."
Go ahead.
If we go to him, and Salakia, verse 7, if we go to him, what can we give him? Saul asked. There is no food left in our packs, and we don't have a thing to give him, do we? The servant answered, I have a small silver coin. I can give him that, and then he will tell us where we can find them.
So their whole mission of even trying to find Samuel, they're trying to find some donkeys, right? They're trying to bring some donkeys back to their pops. They don't know, obviously, Samuel is looking for Saul, or he's waiting to anoint somebody as the king of Israel, right? So 1 Samuel 10:1.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 10 and verse 1. Then Samuel took a jar of olive oil and poured it on Saul's head, kissed him, and said, the Lord anoints you as ruler of his people Israel.
So this is obviously after they linked up and they talked about this, right? Go ahead.
The Lord anoints you as ruler of his people Israel. You will rule his people and protect them from all their enemies. And this is proof that the Lord has chosen you to be the ruler of his people.
Go ahead. This is the proof. This is what's going to happen. Do this, Saul. What?
When you leave me today, you will meet two men near Rachel's tomb at Zelzah in the territory of Benjamin. They will tell you that they will tell you that the donkeys you are looking for have been found, so that your father isn't worried anymore about them, but about you. And he keeps asking, what shall I do about my son?
So he's saying, go here. They're going to tell you about the donkeys. Stop tripping about the donkeys no more. You're good, right? Go ahead. Verse 3.
Verse 3. You will go on from there until you come to the sacred tree at Tabar, where you will meet three men on their way to sacrifice to God at Bethel.
At Bethel. So you're going to meet these people. They're going to go sacrifice to their God at Bethel. Go ahead.
One of them will be leading 3 young goats. Another one will be carrying 3 loaves of bread. And the third will have a leather bag full of wine.
Mm-hmm.
There will you
Salakia, they will greet you and offer you of the 2 loaves. Salakia, verse 4. They will greet you and offer you 2 of the loaves, which you are to accept. Then you will go to the hill of God in Gibeah, where there is a Philistine camp. At the entrance of the town, you will meet a group of prophets coming down from the altar on the hill, playing harps, drums, flutes, and lyres. They will be dancing and shouting.
Go ahead.
Suddenly, the Spirit of the Lord will take control of you, and you will join in their religious dancing and shouting, and will become a different person.
Go ahead.
When these things happen, do whatever God leads you to do. You will go ahead of me to Gilgal.
This part right here, read this slow.
Where I will meet you and offer burnt sacrifices and fellowship sacrifices. Wait there 7 days until I come and tell you what to do.
Go ahead.
When Saul turned to leave Samuel, God gave Saul a new nature. And everything Samuel had told him happened that day.
All right, so now go to chapter 13, right? So Samuel is basically telling them, go here at Gilgal. I will meet you at Gilgal after those 7 days. Then we're going to burn offerings. Then we're going to offer sacrifices. Then we're going to do all this at Gilgal, right? It's very specific. Do this, do this, do this. This is the order of what you're doing things after. Again, way before the Amalekite situation, right? Go ahead.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 13 and verse 8 in the GNT. He waited 7 days for Samuel, as Samuel had instructed him to do, but Samuel still had not come to Gilgal. The people began to desert Saul. So he said to them, bring me the burnt sacrifices and the fellowship sacrifices. He offered a burnt sacrifice, and just as he was finished, Samuel arrived.
So he's like, look, bro, I was supposed to do all this, but at the end of the day, nothing's working out the way that they had told me to do it. And everybody's kind of tripping. So I'm going to go out of my way to do stuff that isn't asked of me, to do stuff that the Lord didn't require of you. The Lord didn't require none of us. Go have a mansion, go have this car, go have this kind of chain, go have this kind of watch, this clothes, whatever it may be. The Lord didn't ask none of that of none of us. Keep my commandments. That's all he required of you. Why are you trying to add on to what the Lord told you to do? Your eyes are bigger than your stomach at that point. You want more. You think doing all this extra stuff is going to be so beneficial when all the Lord asked you is the spiritual side of things. Keep my commandments. None of the physical stuff. Right? Go ahead.
All right. Right. So, and just as he was finishing, Samuel arrived. Saul went out to meet him and welcomed him, but Samuel said, what have you done? Saul answered, the people were deserting me.
That's what you're stripping on. Not the spiritual side of stuff that Saul told him. Be obedient. Right. Just listen. So how the sister said being disobedient. Yeah, that's the whole point. Being disobedient. It wasn't the whole Amalekite thing. It wasn't because you didn't kill all of them. Of course, that's something after, but this is way before that. This is before he even got that commandment. Being disobedient before that situation is what got Saul knocked off that position, right? So being disobedient, forgetting the goal, right? Go ahead.
So Saul answered, the people were deserting me, and you had not come when you said you would. Beside that, the Philistines are gathering at Michmash. So I thought the Philistines are going to attack me here in Gilgal, and I have not tried to win the Lord's favor. So I felt I had to offer a sacrifice.
He felt he needed to do something else that wasn't required of him. Samuel said, when I get there, I'm going to do it with you. Saul said, you're taking too long. You're not putting me where I'm supposed to be. I'm going to go out of my way and do it, when that's not what was asked of him. Go ahead.
Verse 13. That was a foolish thing to do, Samuel answered. You have not obeyed the command of the Lord your God gave you. If you had obeyed, he would have let you and your descendants rule over Israel forever.
He said, if you had obeyed. Go ahead.
Verse 14. But now your rule will not continue, because you have disobeyed him. The Lord will find the kind of man he wants and make him ruler of his people.
What's the next verse say on that?
Verse 15. Samuel left Gilgal and went on his way. The rest of the people followed Saul.
Oh, here it goes. Salakia. This is because this is in the GNT. Look what the KJV says. That's verse 15, 13, and 15. Yeah, look, 1 Samuel 13 and 14, it says, but now thy kingdom shall not continue. The Lord has sought him a man after his own heart. And who is that? That is David, right? After his own heart. David is focusing on the things that the Most High told him to do, nothing else, nothing more. The things that the Lord commanded of him, he was going to do. Stop going out of your way to add stuff to your menu that you aren't even able to eat. It's not meant for you to eat, right? Your eyes are bigger than your stomach at that point. So Proverbs 27 and 20.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 27 and verse 20. Hell and destruction are never full. So the eyes of man are never satisfied.
All right, so we're so used to the blessings that we no longer want them, or we no longer see them as that. We're no longer cherishing the blessings as a blessing, right? We see them as regular things that we should have instead of a gift, right? A spoiled child doesn't know that he's spoiled until he gets it taken away from him, right? You can sit there mobbing in your car, feeling yourself, but then the moment that your car is gone, the moment your car is repossessed, the moment that it stops working and you can no longer use it, and now you got to walk or ride the bus, you're going to sit there like, man, all I want is my car back. That's it. I don't want no crazy car. I just want something that runs, something that gets me to work, right? If that's too hard, then you're going to be like, I just want something, right? Even a bike, whatever it may be, you're going to make it happen. You're going to be content with even having a scooter at that point. But when you had that car, you didn't think, bro, this is such a blessing. The Lord had made it happen for me. But when you're living in that blessing, right, you're not content, you weren't grateful, and you wanted more. You weren't satisfied, right? There isn't anything wrong with wanting more, but it's how you act when the Lord exalts you, right? Taking things for granted when you were living well and hating the Lord when it isn't, that's what's going to be your ruin, right? Our people don't know how to find that balance of it, right? Proverbs 4:23.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 23. Keep thy heart with all diligence.
That's Proverbs 4:23. Also, like you get in the GNT, my bad.
Okay.
That bus versus that car, man. See, let me take this down off here. It's a lot here, brother. Let me get on here, catch up a bit on here. Shalom to brother Nicholas Jacobs, man. Saul lacked faith ultimately at the end of the day, bro. He tells me, if a powerful man, if someone tells me, look, everything that this man says is going to happen happens, and I don't listen to him, come on, bro. Arna 100, Banya, that is different, that bus versus that car. Listen, man, when you have nothing, you're grateful for everything that ever happens your way. No matter what it is, bro, you're grateful for everything. But when you have everything, you don't know what grateful is. Right, you're just a snobby, spoiled kid, right? Go ahead.
And that really be a destruction of a lot of people, because like when you have money and you can just do whatever you want to do, life is boring. You know what I mean? And like scriptures tell us like money is a
defense.
A defense of, you know what I'm saying, and you can get what you need, but if you have an overabundance of money, you'll lack the appreciation of a lot of the small things in life.
But feelings and everything, you'll be like, bro, it don't even matter. Here's some money, you get over it.
Yeah, because you just try to buy everything. You know what I'm saying? Like the brother in the scriptures try to buy the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But 4 and 23 in the GNT.
That's a cold one too. Yeah.
So this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 23 in the GNT. Never say anything that isn't true. Have nothing to do with lies and misleading words.
Here, I don't know why it's not pulling up on here the same way.
Oh, no, Salaki, that was 24.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful
There you go.
how you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts.
Right. So be careful how you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts. The way you look at everything is going to be the reality to you, right? So I've been outside when it's raining, right? And I enjoy it, right? I've had a great time and I don't even worry about the rain. But I've also been outside when it's raining and I completely hate it, right? It's my biggest enemy, right? In the same fashion, I've been poor. I've been dead broke where I don't have a dime to my name and I felt the world was ending, right? You can't even sleep of how just depressed you are from not having money, because I made that money my main focus instead of trusting that the Lord would have my back, right? I've been dead broke and don't have a dime to my name, and I would tell my rib, right, we're gonna be all right. Don't worry, the Lord is gonna look out for us, right? And He does. I was just telling some of the brothers earlier, right? Last week I was like, bro, this whole, if y'all don't know, right, we just had a son 2 weeks ago. Little man is 2 weeks now. EDD sucks, right? They haven't paid my rib in like 2 months, right? And we're cutting it close with everything. We're like, bro, this is getting tough. I can't afford to do this right now. We'll just wait next week to do this or whatever it is. And the Lord out of nowhere just blesses us, bro, twice, where it's to the point of, I didn't know how I was going to get this, but look, the Lord came through, right? And it's having that mindset of we're going to be all right, instead of just arguing, instead of just tripping about money. Money is money. Money's going to come one day or another, but the Lord is going to look out for you in the time that it's meant for you. Things are going to happen for you, right? So be patient. Things are momentarily. You're not going to be broke forever, right? As long as I'm able to work, as long as my back is good, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try to make it happen for my family, right? But everything is based on your outlook on everything, right? Your outlook gives whatever your problem is its weight, right? There's a saying I love. It's the problem ain't the problem. The problem is how you deal with the problem, right? Proverbs 30:7 and 8.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 30 and verse 7. 2 things I have required of thee. Deny me them not before I die.
Mm-hmm.
Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me.
Right, convenient for me. In another translation, it'll say, give me only as whatever food I need, right? So we live in a time where we have so much of everything. We're so used to the good things, right? We take them for granted. What happened? Oh, yeah, get the GNT.
This is in the GNT, Proverbs 30:7. I ask you, God, to let me have 2 things before I die. Keep me from lying and let me be neither rich nor poor. So give me only as much food as I need.
Right. I just need the basics. That's it. Just give me. Us in America, we don't know how good we have it, right? As wicked as Babylon is, we don't know what true poverty is, right? We don't know the struggles that, bro, you go to anywhere in Mexico, you go to Central America, and people are going through it. Go to Haiti, complain about the things that you're complaining about now over there. They don't even know what the things that you're dealing with are. They don't have it as good as you to complain about my car ain't working, my fridge ain't working, right? They don't have a fridge. They don't have hot water. Go outside and get a well, go into the well to go get something for you to shower. They don't have that how could I say it, the luxury that we have it out here, that you're so accustomed to that you no longer even see it as a blessing, right? And even then, we're never satisfied. We want more, not realizing that the Lord has already done so much for you, right? Proverbs 30:9. And yeah, and the GNT is cool.
Yep. 30:9 in the GNT. If I have more, I might say that I do not need you.
And that's what our people do. Unfortunately, that's what I'm saying. That's why most of us will never know what an M in a bank account is. Because we're going to sit there and we're going to be like, all right, I'm good, bro. I'm going to go do something else now. You were doing everything for a blessing instead of because that's what the Lord required of you. I'm not looking for anything like that. None of us should be looking for anything like that. We should be doing it just out of pure love of, that's the Most High God. He did all this for me. I'm going to go ahead and do that. That's the least thing I could do, right? I'm here. My family's well. Cool. Let's do that. And even if it wasn't, I would still do that, Lord willing, because that's all that's required of you. That's our whole purpose on here. If I can prove God exists, that means I'm here for a reason, right? If I could look out there and I could understand everything is divine, I don't need nothing else. I need to understand we're a created thing, and there's, how could I say it? There's things required of us again, right? right? Did you finish that? Verse 9?
No. But if I am poor, I might steal and bring disgrace to my on my God.
Right? So we are balanced, right? We don't have everything in the world, but in reality, we aren't missing anything. We have just enough to get through with everything, enough to get it pushing to where you stay motivated and on fire, right? Go ahead with that last one. I guess it's two more. 2 Corinthians 6:3. Yeah, get into GNT. And like I said, man, hopefully y'all picking up what I'm putting down, man. And it's just stuff that, and like I said, so ultimately these types of lessons, I hope they can help benefit you guys, right? You brothers and sisters out there. But ultimately, this is really for me, right? This is stuff that I go out there and I have to check myself to make sure that I'm, like how I said earlier, doing everything in the spirit and making sure that I'm on point. Last thing I want to do is be a hypocrite, right? And even when you fall short, make sure that you're working towards being better. That should always be the goal. Work towards being better. If you feel this way, if you feel okay, well, I have everything. Okay, cool. Be content with what you have and understand, bro, not everybody has it how you have. So be joyful with that, right? Be joyful, like how bro, be joyful that you even have a car to get to work. Be joyful that you even have any way to get to work. Some people don't even have a job, right? That's the point. We're looking at things differently and we're never satisfied with everything. How we said earlier, you always just want more and more and more, right? 6 and 3.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 3 in the GNT. We do not want anyone to find fault with our work, so we try not to put obstacles in anyone's way.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, in everything we do, we show that we are God's servants by patiently enduring troubles, hardships, and difficulties.
We understand that they're going to come, right? Go ahead.
We have been beaten, jailed, and mobbed. We have been overworked and gone without sleep or food.
Mm-hmm.
By our purity, knowledge, patience, and kindness, we have shown ourselves to be God's servants.
Right.
By the Holy Spirit, by our true love, by our message of truth, and by the power of God. We have righteousness as our weapon, both to attack and to defend ourselves.
Right.
We are honored and disgraced. We are insulted and praised. We are treated as liars, yet we speak the truth.
This part right here. Go ahead.
As unknown, yet we are known by all. As though we were dead, but as you see, we live on. Although punished, we are not killed. Although saddened, we are always glad.
Uh-huh.
We seem poor, but we make many people rich. We seem to have nothing, yet we really possess everything.
Right. You seem to have nothing and you possess everything. Right. At the end of the day, people want to be in your position. There's this saying, people in jail just want to be free, and the people out here just want to be me. There's like, bro, this people and the outlook of life that you have, stop thinking about more and more and more and be content with what's given to you, because in reality you have so much more than what everybody else has, right? To some, all the negatives are just that, negatives. But when you have a better positive outlook on everything and understand why things are the way that they are, when you try to understand why the Lord is doing these things to you, why he's dealing with you a certain way, you don't drown, you understand, you can swim, you understand, right? This is all a test. This is all something to purify you. This is all something to refine you, right? And let's just get this in Tobit.
KJV or
Whichever one is fine. He never satisfied with self-improvement. Man, yeah. And understand there's always room to grow. Give yourself always room to grow. As soon as you sit there and you think that you're a know-it-all, that's the worst place to be. Be a student forever. Always be willing to learn. Otherwise, the Lord is going to come out here and confound you one day, and you're going to be like, well, I didn't think I was as sharp as I was, right? There's always something for you to look at. There's always something for you to dig deeper in and understand more, right? And ultimately, that's going to help better you to be a better servant, right? A better example, right? You got it?
Yep. This is the book of Tobit, chapter 5 and verse 18. Be not greedy to add money to money, but let it be as refuse in respect of our child.
So in this situation, if I remember right, they were supposed to go do something, right? Tobias was supposed to go do something. I'm not sure if I'm flipping the names right. But they're like, bro, well, what about our kid? And they're like, look, bro, stop worrying about the money aspect. Money is whatever. Compared to our kid, money is whatever. Right? Verse 19.
Verse 19. For that which the Lord hath given us to live with doth suffice us.
Whatever the Lord has given us, that's enough for me. Whatever the Lord desires to put on my plate to eat, I'm gonna eat it and be happy. I'm not gonna look at everyone else's plate and compare and want their stuff. Because at the end of the day, say I have their plate, I'm not gonna know what to do with that plate. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's not something good that I actually wanted. Right? The grass is always greener on the other side because you think it is. Right? You didn't know what the Lord has in stock and in place for them to even have that grass that green. In order for them to have that plate that full, the things that they needed to go through. But he knew exactly what you needed to go through. So he gave you the plate that you have in front of your face. And then here you are complaining about what God has given you instead of being happy that he even gave you anything to begin with, right? Gave you this knowledge to begin with. You have something?
Yeah, Con. This is the book of James, chapter 2 and verse 5 in the GNT. Listen, my dear friends, God chose the poor people of this world to be rich in faith and to possess the kingdom which he hath promised to those who love him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, the worldly things, it says that the wicked, right? I'm not saying our people can't have money, but at the end of the day, it says the wicked are the ones with it, right? It says it's harder for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven, right? And at least in that sense, I'm glad I don't have the problems that rich people have. I got little basic stuff that I need to worry about. And even then I can't get it right. So imagine having all these crazy other problems, right? And ultimately, I mean, that was the message, right? Be happy with what you have. Be content that you're even going through anything, because people want to be in your shoes. And here you are wanting more when it's not even asked of you, when the things that you're asking have nothing to do with the goal, nothing to do with the mission. And now the mission is in the back burner, right? Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 24, right? The sister posted, nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world, and they that do hold of his side do find it, right? All praises to the Most High, sister, right? The envy, the want, the lust of everything else, that's nothing to do with God, right? And instead, you should be craving and desiring, like how we said, right? Let me see if I still have that on here. You should be craving and desiring everything that he told you, right? But instead, our own cravings, our own wants are the things that are leading to our destruction on here. Brother Banya says, ride the wave, don't fight the ride. Don't fight the things, don't fight the situations. Let understanding flow how you've been through what you experienced. Listen, brother. Ride the wave, right? You got it, brother. Nah, see, ride the wave, don't fight it. Yeah, at the end of the day, bro, sometimes when like how we were saying in the water analogy, sometimes when you're in the water and you're fighting for it, you'll freak yourself out, you'll panic too much, and you'll drown, instead of you just being like, bro, I know I'm good. The Lord got me, right? He's my hedge, he's my tower, he's my fortress. You have something? Right, so sister, great lesson. Thank you. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. And hopefully next week is something that's beneficial for you guys. Maybe this is something that all of you guys are gonna have to resonate. Even for me, during the week, might be put in a situation where I'm gonna go through something and I'm gonna reflect and remember, damn, I just told everybody this, and here I am doing that, right? So ultimately, these lessons are to empower all of us, right, to help refine ourselves, right? So the brothers in the Bay should be going live soon. They're in San Francisco on 16th and Mission today, right? So as soon as we end this, just be patient, and the brothers out there will go live with a street camp teaching. Meanwhile, we're going to be going to Sacramento. So around 5:30, 6, you'll see the brother Dakar in our Sacramento region going live out there, and hopefully get some more edification, right? So two other lives that we're going to be having, and two other chances for us to hopefully edify some of our people on there, right? So with that, shalom, family.
Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord, whom you seek, shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom you delight in. Behold, he shall come, says the Lord of hosts. But who may abide the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like fuller's soap. And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. And he shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Lord an offering in righteousness.